Should we go for one more chapter? I think we could. We'll push as far as we can. Okay, let's go. 19th of February, 2:38, Briar Road. It looks as though the police are still here carrying on with their investigation. Perfect, so let's find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible. And let's see if he'll take a break from his chips and look at the silver tip Iris gave us for him. What's up? Let's present. Present this postcard. Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment? I'm sorry to say I don't. I'm a very busy man. Much too busy to talk to a pair of foreign gadabouts, that's for sure. We have these for you. A present from Miss Iris Wilson. For me, her ladyship? Her ladyship? Give that here. Once, come on, hand it over. That's for me. Don't wait for me to give it to you, will ya? What was that coin exactly? Silver crown, obviously. It's a lot more than that. Well, it's an appearance fee. That's what it is. An appearance fee? I see, you mean... That's right. For the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. The ladyship always offers me a little financial reward for featuring me every time. Yeah, of course, I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly. Of course, her using my name without my say-so does make me the butt of a lot of unpleasant jokes, but still. I'm sorry, Inspector, that must be really difficult for you. Never you mind that. So, what do you want to know then, eh? Sorry? Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem, it says. Well, obviously it's not a problem. Go on, fire away. What do you want to know? You don't mind me asking. How long does it take for you getting affiliate? So once you submit it, it usually takes around 3-4 days max. It's pretty fast. Because the partner stuff are way more like thorough, whereas affiliation, it probably benefits Twitch in the long run way more than it benefits us, the people who create stuff. So, like once you hit the metrics, as long as you didn't like use something illegal to get it, like you're pretty able to get into the program. And of course, when you're able to, I think once you hit the metrics, it automatically tells you that you're able to submit an application, and then once you do, you submit also your like financial information, and then it kind of like you just kind of wait. Well, if you wouldn't mind, Inspector, we'd very much like to know the address of Mr. Natsume's lodging. Ah, the little knife-wielding mustache Japanese fella? He lives in the right old hovel, just over there. Look. Pointing. So, Strand? It's the first floor on the house in the corner where that wreck of a bicycle propped up. That's nearby indeed. If I remember rightly, the landlord is Mr. John Garrideb. Right, well, if you see her again, you make sure you give her ladyship my regards, you hear? I mean it, you tell her that. Gregson sends his very best wishes. Don't worry, Mr. Inspector, I will. Goodbye for now then, and long live her ladyship. Well, at least he told us what he wanted to know before he left. So then, shall we go and see what we can find in Mr. Natsume's lodgings? Definitely. Yeah, and that's rather typical of an old brick building, isn't it? I'm sure it has a long, interesting history. Well, it certainly seems to have taken its toll on its place. It's crooked and sagging all over. In fact, it looks like it's decidedly worse shape than the other houses around here. Going to the Inspector Gretchen's, that's the house where Mr. Natsume has lodgings. Just across the road from where the incident took place, I see. It must be awful for Saseki-san getting caught up in something like this in his foreign land. Alright, let's just move, I guess? Whoop, 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 whoop. 19th of February, Mr. Natsume's lodgings. May I help you? Yes, would this be the residence of Mr. John Garridub? Indeed it would, sir. And who may I say is calling? My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Mr. Naruhodo is currently representing Mr. Soseki Natsume. I believe he takes lodgings here? We would very much like to ask him some questions about our client. Why is her eyes always closed? One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Garridub. Do you see that, Mrs. Susato? That was a real-life English maid. That was the first time I've ever seen one in the flesh. Oh, this day keeps getting better. It certainly feels like we've arrived now, doesn't it? We need only to meet a butler and the experience will be complete. Well, I'm not sure I'd go that far, but I understand the sentiment. Thank you for waiting, Mr. Garridub will see you now. This way. Just look at him, I guess. Good day to you, Mr. John Garridub at your service. Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. He's a defense lawyer. Do excuse me for not getting up. I took a shot to the knee a few years back in the Battle of my ward. Don't you know? Earned a medal for my pains, but had to withdraw from service. Handed over the reins to the up-and-comings. He's a retired soldier. It's a hell of a job getting up and down these stairs now, I can tell you. Don't get out much, but as you can imagine. It's quite a climb up there to the second floor, isn't it? I was panting at the top of the stairs. You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruhodo. Do you think so? Well, Mr. Garridub, no doubt you were very courageous to earn yourself a medal. It was nothing. The medal's just a folderol act, really. I wouldn't like to offend the general, though. So I grudgingly displayed it on the wall. Why don't you fetch it down, Joan? Let these good people see it properly. Joan, fetch that. Ah! Dash it, woman, be careful. Oh, dear me. I beg your pardon, sir. You jolly nearly took the skin off my hands. I shall be more careful, sir. So, anyway, there you have it. Living the quiet life now. She's way too tired. Yes, I see. Now then, I hear you want to talk about the chap lodging downstairs, is that right? Yes, we would be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us. Only two, please, naturally. Especially if it helps to keep the peace here in Blighty. Alright, God bless you, Donaway. We forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, as you are sure I'm aware. So this case is very much in the public eye, as it were. Oh, is it? Even had some famous detective poking around, you know, in this old house, would you believe? Yeah, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Could have been. Didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, all that detective business. But you have a copy of Rain Smack's scene here, so... Anyway, the chap's investigating the foreigner's room as we speak. This is in Soseki-san's room. It's a bally nuisance is what it is. The whole neighborhood's twitching in our curtains now. I don't like all this fuss. It's unsettling. Let's hear about who's Mr. Natsume. About Mr. Natsume then. Mr. Gerda, please do tell us. Yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week. Just 1 week? Oh, you moved in very recently then. I had 2 lodgers most of the time, one on the ground floor, one just below us. The first floor room became available a week ago, you see. There's been... Ah! Dash it all, John. Be careful. Oh, my goodness. I'm terribly sorry, sir. You want to know my opinion? I thought he was a shady sort from the moment I set my eyes on him. Why? He seemed to have the most nervous disposition, always shaking, looking over his shoulder. The man had shady written across his sweat-soaked brow, if you had asked me. I said to myself, Joan, that man is trouble. Sooner or later he's going to do something untoward. And I'm rarely wrong about anything. We won't be calling you this maid as witness, that's for sure. Is there anything else that struck you as suspicious about the man at all? Of course, indeed there was. She's dying to tell us. Lady Lodger, let's hear about what her opinion is. You notice anything else about your lodger, Mr. Natsume? Oh my word, yes, the man was shadier than an orchard. Could you elaborate? Well, take the man's room. Absolutely stuffed full of books, it is. More than anyone could ever read. He never so much passes the time of day with another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor call. He just trots off to the old bookshop every single day and comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. The funny little man is up long past the time everyone else in the house has gone to bed too. Oh, I see. The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed at around 9 each night. I've never known that Japanese fellow to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning. Ah. Could you clarify something, I wonder? What, pray? How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine? I understood that neither of the lodgers living on this floor of the house that neither of the lodgers live on this floor of the house, is that correct? That's right, yes. They're both below us. He's sweating. On the first floor and street level. Then, how is it that you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? Precise times when they come back in the evening, for example, even times they go to bed. They're snoops. That's... Ah! Good grief, Joan. Be careful, woman. My goodness, sir. I'm terribly sorry, sir. Something doesn't add up here. It seems that the incident took place around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look at the window around the time? The window? You notice that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement just on the far side of the street. Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby? 5 o'clock is dinner time in the Gerda household, so I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan? No, sir. It would have been dusk outside already at that hour, and with the fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see on the other side of the road. I see. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary then? Such as? Anything at all, even if it seems unrelated. Well, was there something then? Well, it's nothing particularly significant around this sort of time that Oh God, Joan. Watch what are you doing? Oh dearie me, what have I done? I'm awfully sorry. Be more careful, woman. Of course, sir. My mate, Mr. Narrow Hollow. Yes? I have an exceedingly good memory, and as far as I remember, nothing of any significance took place here. At that hour, nothing at all. Really, Mr. Gyardeb, the way you were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been. Well, as I was saying, it was just a trifling matter, really. Nothing of... Don't dash it all, what is the matter with you? Begging your pardon, sir? Nothing happened. Yes, quite. Nothing happened. We sat down to quite an eventful meal, Joanne? That's right, Mr. Gerda. So suspicious. What is the matter with these two? It sounded like something happened here in this room on the evening of the incident, but I wish I knew. Maybe she needs to stop pouring. Could you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on? Why, certainly. Just below us on the first floor. And Mr. Sholmes is investigating there, even as we speak? Yes. Told me his name has asked him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key. Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Sholmes' services? That's a blatant lie. Would it be alright if we had a look around? In Mr. Natsume's room, I mean? Don't see why not. Just down one flight of stairs. Who knows if we'll find anything that could help us with this case, but we have to try. We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we? Yes. We'll speak with Mr. Sholmes again. Perhaps he'll tell us more. You could look around the room, maybe? Investigate it thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of the place. Look at that enormous screen. It must have been put there deliberately, surely. Yeah, it certainly seems like someone's trying to hide something from view. What could be behind it, I wonder? I'm going to have a very quick look. Just a little peek. Maybe let's not, Mrs. Sato. I think the maid's going to head us off with a cup of tea. Look at this crockery on display here. It's rather unusual, isn't it? My, genuine London dresser, isn't it delightful? Although the shelves seem to be broken and the crockery is, oh dear, it's in pieces. What's up with that? It really is. The word cracked wouldn't do that Chinaware justice. I wonder. Perhaps the cannon was fired at it. Probably something like that. Let's not delve too deeply here. I guess there's really nothing. Just go back. I doubt there's really anything more. Let's check out that room. What? Just look at this place and smell it. It's so musty in here. I suppose that's mountain old books that are responsible for that. I don't think I've ever seen so many books in my life. Me neither. It's so dark in here, too. Is that the window over there? The window over there? It was the window, I think, once upon a time, but for some reason it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. Uh, I'm my throat's tired from reading it, okay? Hey Kit, how are you doing? Yeah, I wish I had your voice effects. By the way, you know, I don't know. I haven't spot Mr. Mr. Sholmes anywhere, have you? No, that's true, but according to what Mr. Garrett told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. So, Kit Livingstone, how are you doing tonight? Ah, oh no, your throat is manly. We're investigating Mr. Natsume's room, which is the suspect of the stabbing. Look at these books, blah, blah, blah. Stacked up books. English literature. He's Mr. Natsume's English, not English, a Japanese student that was sent to England. Bloop, 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 bloop. We are actually doing our, hopefully running through a second chapter of this game today, so we're doing a marathon essentially. Yeah, buddy coming over in the morning, probably met him like 13 years ago playing Halo. That's pretty cool. I haven't played Halo in forever. Are you pretty good at Halo? Here there's a lot of people that are pretty into Halo, if you know. A lot of people in the GMA server, like Carlito, Father Ironheart, Form Jedi. I don't know if he's in the Discord anymore. Carlito. Yeah, a lot of people are into Halo now. They're pretty excited about the new release. Do you think you're ever going to try out the new Halo, though? The Infinite version or whatever? Yeah, I remember playing it on the Xbox or something. Crevice. This guy's a bookworm. He has to read tons of books. Ooh, we found something. A receipt from a secondhand bookshop. Your books. Yes, Mr. Natsume's name's on it. Look, the date. 2 days ago. That's the day of the incident. That's just a short while before he embroiled in a terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying old books. Ooh, February 17th. Is that when your friend is gonna come? Wait, no. That's your friend is coming over today. Oh, tomorrow. And the game is coming in February 17th. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get it though, just because I'm not really into the shooting things now, so. Alrighty. Oh, February 19th. Ah, we found the guy. Let's examine it. That's almost a year ago, eh? No, not a year ago. I mean, that's next few months ago, a few months later, a few years, multiple years ago. But I'm glad that you're still friends with him. Oh, pal. We have this very eccentric Sholmes character that is actually pretty bad at deductions. Let me see, where was that we met? We've met on the ship. We were on a ship towards England called the SS Berea. And Kazuma Asogi actually died, which is our best friend. Mr. Asogi. There was a snake on the ship, so he's not wrong. And Miss Sato-san is actually a big fan of him because she reads a book called there's like a magazine that he's been written on. Try the other way around, Mr. Sholmes. I'm so confused. Okay. Hey, Epitome, good to see ya. Right now we're on our second chapter of the day, our final chapter before we stop to raid, and we've only gone through this chapter a little bit, so we still have a bit of time left. I hope you're doing well. How are you doing today? Did you get pretty productive in your streams or not streams, whatever? I don't know what you're up to today. Nom nom. Um, I mean, today was Veterans Day and Remembrance Day. Your family doing well? In truth, we had hoped to invite you both to Baker Street the day we arrived in London, but some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away at the crime scene. Fairly trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes. So the apprentice Soseki-san, that's who we're defending. A short amount of time. Yeah, I also plan on cutting back from co-working streams. I see. Well, depends. If, you need to be productive, then those co-working streams, if they work, that's good. Oh, get another drink. But maybe, I guess, you have less time to work? Or directly on stream, I guess. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I don't always remember my pearls, Whiston, but fortunately my associate pens them beautifully. Right. Yeah, you don't really want to ignore chat, but you kind of have to. Okay, we're gonna ask him about the case. The case in which our friend got pinned as the stabber. Mr. Natsumi. We know this has to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Soseki Natsume. Seems you have assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes, for the stabbing of the young woman outside here on the Briar Road. Natsume, yes, I believe it was named rather along those lines, but Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little? Sorry, Miss Sato, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean. Can't believe he was looking Susato straight in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you, I'm not merely feigning ignorance. It would appear as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension. How? I assure you I have no recollection of accusing your stooped compatriot of a crime. That doesn't make sense. The good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request to me, and I wrote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene. Ah, a man seen fleeing. Yeah, he was fleeing the crime scene. There were a number of books scattered on the pavement at the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the shop on which they had been purchased, and on speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. A lemon tree, wouldn't you say? I believe there's a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question. So do you think Mr. Natsume is the culprit then? That I cannot tell you. But it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books. I found myself quite lost in the I don't even know what that word is. The bibliophily. Bibliophily. Bibliophily? Bookworm? The Love of Books by the Collins Dictionary. Do not be deceived into believing that I'm a man of leisure. No. Oh dear. Ah, tell me. Have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Yes, Mr. Yardab, a retired military man. It was the first time I've ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services. It was the first time I've ever met a maid from the great British institution that is service. I didn't think about it that funny. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, any household in London is employee-made. Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer. And so conversely, whether or not a houseful employees maid has come to betoken the social standing of those dwelling therein. Betoken their social standing. Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, household employ enough staff to constitute a large family. Goodness, how extraordinary. As you can appreciate, those on the precarious boundary between the middle and lower class, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance. I had no idea, and it is for precisely that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs, specifically in the retired army veteran John Gerdeb. Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances of this case, I'm yet unable to discern. Thoroughly lost on what he means to say. Dingy room. Okay. This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fella. I assure you, any man whose lot is to dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody sooner or later. That seems biased. Mr. Natsume stabbed nobody. But sooner or later, as I said. I don't believe that's the issue here. About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window? Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there is a window of sorts. But it's been completely blocked with bricks. Ah, I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax. Window tax? What is that? Surely. Not a tax on windows? Precisely that. Oh my goodness. Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those with lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home, perhaps rapidly closed windows up, while the rich opened windows here and there and everywhere, in an effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money. How awful and unjust, forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light. Indeed, disease was rife as a result. So some 40 years ago, there or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example. I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps. It would appear so. I've done a little digging, and I discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price. Because the room is so awful, I should think. Apparently Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of this accommodation. Well, still, that is a little relevance here. A matter not worthy of further attention. Are you sure? I'm curious now. I wonder why it's so low. Will we ever find out? Well, I believe I've told you all that I can now. Thank you, sir. Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? You remember that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? To the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? I'm not sure. Not sure? On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only recently. Really? Well then, I congratulate you, sir, on ambition realized, so promptly too. The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Yes, trust. Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? My dear fella, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate? Yes, that was indeed my initial intention. Oh, Missionary Gamer with a raid? What a surprise! Thank you all so much for coming along. Before we continue, I'd love to share the gospel with you guys, but I really appreciate you for joining us today. We are playing the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles on finding the truth and justice in this court case where our friend Natsume, not our friend, but I guess we have to defend Natsume as he's been accused of the crime of stabbing a woman. Alright, Missionary Gamer. Missionary Gamer wants us to share the gospel, and why not? So, what is the gospel? The gospel means good news. And with the good news, there was bad news that the good news was for. The bad news is that we have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. We have sinned and rebelled against God, our Creator, by breaking His law, from going against His character, and rebelling. But the good news is God the Father sent His Son, God the Son, Jesus, to earth to live a perfect life as fully man, fully God, and He was gonna live a perfect life following the law and then die on the cross willingly as a sacrifice so that He could pay for our debt that we owed and that we could have a right relationship with Him. So Jesus died and resurrected on the third day, showing that He had power over death and life, and that whoever comes to Him for forgiveness will find it. And He said on earth, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father except through me. The time is fulfilled, and the kingdom of God is at hand. We have to repent, turn 180 degrees, and follow the straight way towards what God has revealed, and believe in the gospel, which is what Jesus has done on earth. And so, yeah, we must trust in what Jesus' payment for our sin to be in right relationship with Him, and then to have Him be our Lord, the one who rules and guides our life. And He isn't just some strict dude that makes us feel fear necessarily, but He shows us that He has good and right intentions because He has made us and in His image, and He has a purpose made for us. And so that's the gospel, to repent and believe in Him. And that's Missionary Gamer there. He is left to probably recover. And I'm going to pray for him just before we continue. Dear Heavenly Father, thanks for bringing Missionary Gamer again here to just hang a bit. And God, I know Missionary Gamer wasn't feeling so well. He's trusting you to provide some relief and to lead him to serve you in other ways, but he needs rest. God, would you give him the energy and the food necessary to recover and help him be back soon for more development in his work. And yeah, God, I ask you to give him mercy and grace and to continue on each day working and being a great example on the internet. I give this all to you in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Alrighty. Let's continue. Alright, we need to find out what exactly was going on. Nevertheless, the two facts that I state quite equivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room, and there were 2 witnesses who swear on having seen the same man commit the crime. That's all I can say. Ah, and one more thing. Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? I can't say with any certainty whether or not this is of relevance to this case, but I'm quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Mr. Gerdeb is. Mr. Sholmes said that much more before, actually, didn't he? Anyway, at present, that's really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case. Mr. Naruhodo, as yet, our investigations have uncovered nothing that could establish Mr. Natsume's innocence. You're right. Perhaps it's time we probe a little deeper into Mr. Gerdeb's secret. Okay, we're gonna go into his room. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Merryherder. He's gone back to his book in the corner of the room. Okay. Let's move upstairs to the garret room. Maybe his maid is gone this time. 19th February, Mr. Garradab's room. Nope, she's still there. Ah, you pair again. Tell me, was a detective chap, I forget his name, hard at work down there? Mr. Herlock Sholmes? Ah, yes. It rings a vague bell. All the detective's business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid. Well, Mr. Sholmes is in his element down there. Jolly good show. And the cup of tea, if you please, Joan. Oh, no. Now then, why don't you tell me what... Ah! Updates time, woman. Will you watch what you're bally-well doing? I shall be serving dinner shortly, sir. Yes, of course. Frightfully rude of me. I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave, if you'd be so kind. Of course. We are deeply grateful for all your assistance. Not at all, not at all. Don't get much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out? Guess we're kicked out. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garradab is hiding something. Since no other avenues of investigation seem open at us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging. Guess we can dig this. Size cannon, what's it doing in here? Oh, it's real. I thought it might be a replica. That old thing? Bah, that's a little more than a toy. The army was selling it off when I retired, so I decided to give it a new home. Never know when the enemy might attack next. Jolly useful to have a cannon out in the house. Really? Isn't it overkill? Be prepared, I'd always say. You never know what's this twisted world gonna throw at you next, boy. Do you think there might be trouble brewing, Mr. Garradab? Always is. Take Joan here. Never fails to have a clean apron in reserve. Dries them over the barrel, you see? They dry very well over on the cannon there. Joan tells me, which rather proves my point, I feel. So it's a drying rack now? Again, it looks like it's hanging its head in shame. Or should Mr. Garradab's glaring at me, I swear. Have you noticed that little frames containing photographic prints of Mr. Garradab as well? Yes, and there seems to be a statue of a lion on the mantelpiece as well. Ah yes, it seemed to come back in a local pawnbroker with that little trinket. Seems to come back? What do you mean? The chap who runs the place is a bally wizard. Went in to sell him something and came out with that thing. In a point of fact, now I think about it, I rather often find myself leaving the place with something I don't need. Lion ornament certainly does seem surplus to requirements. Doesn't pull her punches, or her throws, or whatever. There's those mortar shells. Those are enormous. I hadn't noticed. What are they doing here? Ah, those old things. Couple of little rounds I accidentally fired into the barracks during training. You know. Became a little colorful regiment folklore that incident. Do you mean you deliberately hunted out spent shells? Well, I wouldn't say deliberately exactly. They're only scrap iron after all. Usually just thrown away, I believe. But you never know when those things might come in useful, do you? Useful for what exactly? Yes, well. Joan here did manage to knock one of the bally things on my foot the other day when she was dusting. And shed a tear since 1869. Before then, you know. Maybe we consider throwing them away. Notice you have a pile of books here, Mr. Garradab. Do you enjoy reading? Ever experienced a London winter, boy? Nights are long. No better way to pass the time than in front of a fire with a jolly good book. Oh, there's a copy of Rand's magazine here, I see. No doubt Mr. Garradab enjoys the adventures of Herlock Sholmes, too. The great detective has a great many followers, it would seem. What's he doing here? Mr. Sholmes? We meet again, my dear fellows. Good gracious, when did you sneak in here? Herlock Sholmes, sir? At your service. What were you doing over by the window? I'm given to watching the evening sky at the sunsets, madam, yet sadly cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture for such observation. So I took the liberty to borrow a small corner of space by the window up there. Well, keeping an eye to one's windows at dusk is the prudent thing to do at London, I'm gathering. One other thing, Mr. Naruhodo. Me? I thought perhaps you might be in need of certain great detectives' great mind. Wait, he's not talking about, is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon. Do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? There's a mighty secret in this modest room. My eyes see even the most trivial trifles. I take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruhodo? I think so. There must be time enough for one to greatly admire great deductions. Let's conclude the matter before dark. Here we go. I'm not gonna read his words now. I'm just gonna watch it. You concealed the presence of a ferocious beast in your care. Hmm? In the second, because of the beast's violent rampage, you have lost something very dear to you. We're onto something. How could I possibly know, you mean to inquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. For the dense jungle of logic and reasoning. I am the king of the beasts. What? I know only too well that wild beasts are not easily tamed. Shall we begin? Let's do it. Deduction time. He thinks it's a lion? I think his right side of his face is like burnt or something. He has a clue in her pocket. Maybe? A circus show pamphlet. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Pile of bills. Oh dear me. What could have caused such destructive outbursts? I'm so confused. This is so random. What's the matter with you? You're pouring scalding hot tea all over me. I'm sorry, Mr. Kirdev, I'm afraid I didn't notice. My deductions can be startling sharp. It stands to reason that your cup runneth over. My revelations can make people spill tears at times, too. Mr. Sholmes, sorry to button again, but could I make an observation? Why, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. What is it again? Well, your deductions just now. Do you really think a lion could have fit in a room this size? Indeed, it's the only explanation for the facts. The terrifying truth all too often lies beyond the realms of common sense. What he? If an uncaged lion ran amok in this very room. He used a cannon? I thought you said they sold the lion to the circus. And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing. But I don't believe they have ever heard a lion that drinks tea. Ah, my dear Miss Susato, it occurs to me that with some regularity, that irrespective of race and breeding, whenever anyone lands in Great British soil, they're infused with a high appropriate taste for afternoon tea. What a glorious notion. Well then, Miss Naruhodo, it's your turn to shine again. I had a feeling this was coming. A slight massage. That's all Mr. Sholmes' deductions need. You could do it. Excellent. I've been waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward. Mr. Naruhodo. You don't even know yet whether or not this is going to help Mr. Natsumi's case. Still, uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. At least that's what I want to believe. Let's start again. From the beginning. Sherlock Holmes. Logic and reasoning spectacular. Let's correct this guy. Certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see. That fearsome beast has been on rampage of late within our walls. Right. Thus we are faced with the question, what form might this beast take? For a man with military breeding, your eyes are commonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Gyarados, led us directly to the lion? Okay, we have to fix this weird question. I didn't see the lion coming. What is that? Ready. Okay. Like some sense. Maybe it is his bride. Would be the shell. Maybe it is this. Think it's mortar shells? Oh, that doesn't look right. Whoops, we're wrong. Guess it's this. The true nature of this beast has been running rampant is the newlywed bride. Precisely, I guess. Hmm. No. Mm, I guess it might be the teapot. Hmm. Hmm. I guess. Nope. I don't really get this one either. They're trying to answer the question. Oh, my mom's trying to come in. Hello. What's up? What? Oh, it might be dinner soon. We'll be there soon. Just present that. What's... Okay. We're wrong about that too. Hmm. Hmm. What reveals Mrs. Scaredab's current? Appears to be a circus handbill poking at her bucket. Only performing shows in a park not far from here. Surely Mr. Garrett didn't sell his wife to the circus. Mr. Naruhodo, how could you think of such a thing? Joking. Besides, I would have gone with, do you think he fed her to his pet lion? That's worse. She's wearing a very large ring. Look. A sunflower design. That's kind of nice. It's on her ring finger on her left hand, which means surely a wedding ring. It looks like it's on there for life. I can't imagine it would slide off a finger of that size. That's something to think, Mr. Naruhodo. Let's say, do you know Mr. Gyarados' wife in the photograph had a ring very much like this one? Large sunflower wedding ring. It's quite a coincidence, I guess. Let's just present it. So, a wife is a maid now? It's identical. You're no ordinary household maid. No. You are wife maid? Bride. Well, jolly fine detective, sir. As you rightly surmise, this is my wife, Jo. Rather let herself go, you might say she is... It would appear that you don't live in the most comfortable circumstances. What was this? What did he say? Corkerback. After all, you are a retired army man, yet you are in the business of renting out rooms. I would assume, therefore, you had insufficient means to employ a maid. That would be correct? It's not right, I tell you. A second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. A man has his pride, don't you know? By golly, it's a sorry thing that when a chap can't even afford to have a single maid in his employ. Here in London, one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it employs no staff at all. Though, in my considered opinion, such concerns about appearances are folly. You mean Mr. Gyardab has his wife work as his maid? Precisely, am I right, Mr. Gyardab? Only in company, obviously, but listen here. Must remain a secret. Tip-top secret, please. Wow. I know why it's ripped then. It is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in that polite pose, the distressed loss was you veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavily on your shoulders. The pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. It's not wrong. Yeah, as a woman, that feels rather uncomfortable. Scared Deb is standing beside her husband as we speak. In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he? True. So perhaps that supporting arm seems to be propping up his head with some other significance. According to Mr. Sholmes, pain is tangible, though. What could it mean? Give her a slap, cheek. Ding. We did it! Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that slapped cheek. Of course, the deliverer of that impressible mark refuses to fade. That was you, Madame Joan Geardeb. Well, yes. You've been desperate to hide that slap mark on your cheek, sir. Ugh. How the blazes. Did you work that out, man? Nothing escapes the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fella. That's why you haven't looked directly at us even once. To keep your other side from view. Now, let us proceed to the next conundrum. Why you are subjected to such a violent slap? Oh. In other words, we must ask ourselves what caused Madame Geardeb to fly into a rage. Now we need to only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yep. Yes, it's a pile of bills that's given rise to the pain you suffered. Not really. Could be that book, though. Never existed, which can only mean that the thing responsible for gobbling up that food was Mr. Geardeb's wife. She's a person, not a thing. Well, she's also a person who gave her husband a mighty slap around the face, so hard that it left a perfect hand mark, in fact. Why would a woman want to hit her husband with such force, I wonder? I couldn't have answered that question. Let's look at that. I must have been reading this book at the moment. There's a bookmark here, look. Mr. Geardeb's clearly an avid reader. Oh wait, a minute. There's a kiss mark. Uh-oh, this is a bookmark. Oh no, it isn't. It's a note with a woman's... Oh, James, I love you. You're married. Lip marks. Made with lipstick. Oh. Oh dear, I'm sorry. This bookmark is actually a love note then. Well, I guess we could just present this? Right. Yes, it's the love note that was giving rise to the pain you suffer. Oh, James, I love you. You're married. Passionate indeed. Perhaps the sender of this note is certain Miss Mary is the fly in the ointment here. Oh. But I don't know the bally woman. You don't know her? I know it wasn't even written to me. It was just in the book. I don't know how it got there. It was just in there, you say? That's right. Ah! Likely story. That wasn't your Joan, old thing. I explained that at the time. I bought the book at a second-hand place and it must have been in there already. The previous owner of the book was using the note as a bookmark, you see. That's right, that's what I've been saying. Ah! Likely story. For heaven's sake, woman. Look at the name. It's written to James. My name, in case you've forgotten, is John. Ah! Likely story. Are you suggesting my name now? Questioning my name now? There you have it. Arouse the suspicion of the female heart and you unleash a beast with the most ferocious bite. Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last imaginable attack. Unimaginable? The aftermath can be clearly seen by observing the carpet. Oh dear me, what could have caused such a destructive outburst? This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you who have inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. It was not that, obviously. It's that book on right there, like, of course not. No doubt that the state of the disarray in this room is a result of her wild temper, but no, that's true, but it's the last part that deduction needs to fix. We need to follow Miss Geardeb, right? The gaze will tell us the answer. Alright, let's see what you can see. Well, let's read what that is. Circus Handbill. Advertising handbill, Batty's Circus, in a nearby park. Isn't this the same one as we saw earlier? The one that was folded up in Gyarados' pocket? Perhaps that would create circus lovers. It couldn't be that Hungry Lion's somehow involved here again. Oh dear, I hope not. Alright. Keep looking around. Candlestick? Looks like a very old candlestick, doesn't it? The base looks small. Surely it's unstable. It looks to me like even the slightest knock would make it topple over. Oh dear. That would be dangerous. Wait, take a closer look at this. There's one candle missing. I didn't notice that before. Why is that, I wonder? Why is one candle of 3 missing from its holder? Oh, there it is. It just fell there. Carpet here has been ripped to shreds, and according to Mr. Sholmes' dot action, the tears match those of an Indian lion teeth exactly. Look here, what is it? Look closely at the edge, as you see scorch marks. In that case, perhaps the carpet wasn't eaten in the normal sense at all. Yay, we figured it out. A candle fell and it burnt things. Most illuminating, my dear, and of course, the only possible way of this logical labyrinth. The remnants of the ferocious attack where the carpet was devoured was clearly visible. Indeed, they are. The scorch marks at the edge clearly give the truth away. Scorch marks? It appeared that this room was at the scene of a little marital altercation. Mrs. Gyarados' mighty arm muscles left an impression not only her husband's face, but on the entire room. The force of her strike caused the candle to fall from the holder. And in seconds, the carpet was light, and the whole corner in the room, the whole corner of the room in flames. Yes, for the most ferocious beast in the world is neither a violent lion nor a vengeful woman, but fire. And in this room, the ferocious beast bared its claws and ran amok. Eloquently put, my dear fella. So you can see there's but one conclusion here. Sparks of marital discord flew, and this room was the scene of a fire. Mr. Sholmes, sir. I salute you, I guess. Carpet scorched by a small fire. Hooray, we did it! After messing up multiple times. It's these dash-long winter nights, you know. Nothing to do but read in front of a fire. Luckily, there's a jolly good second-hand bookshop just around the corner. Buy all my old novels there. And in the pages of one particular novel, you discover some rather illicit material, for which your wife admonished you harshly, it seems. Don't know about admonished. Demolished might be closer to the mark. And beast is most certainly apt as... Ah! Here we go again. And the carpet? Was that destroyed by the fire when the candle fell on the floor? Great to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. I was caught between the old stick's rage and raging flames. You painted a torrid picture, sir. One that would almost certainly be entertaining. That's sympathy for you. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The body's furniture started going up as well. We had to hide the mess behind that screen for the time being. Over there, Mr. Garrideb? Well, you have nothing more to hide now, if you allow me. Oh, burnt books. Had all my favorite old novels in that case, but as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in the smoke. The wife started hurling things at me. What a terrible sight it must have been. There was I, backed up against the window under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books, coming 10 to the dozen. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite, book called The Lion's Pride. The Lion's Pride? Ah, yes, your notorious love of big cats coming through again. I assure you, the title didn't influence my choice in the slightest. So the poor man really did lose something dear to him as a result of the ferocious beast's rampage. Mr. Sholm's deductions turned out to be the correct one. Once again, it can only be described as a great British wanderer. I tell you, it was total carnage, flames everywhere, and the old stick in full kettle. Out of interest, what time of day was that? Not sure I can remember, it was 2 days ago now. Let's see, around 5 o'clock I think. The same time as the incident? Even more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. The whole Blighty could have been flattened outside my window at that moment. I wouldn't have noticed a dashed thing. Oh, really? Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Naruhodo? What can I do for you? Well, I think I got to the bottom of Mr. Garrideb's situation now, but what does that have to do with Mr. Natsume's circumstances? I can't help you there, I'm afraid, my dear fellow. If you recall, I did say as much from the outset. Although I knew the retired army man to be hiding something, I could not be sure whether his secret would prove to be relevant or not. I just knew you were going to say that. Now, Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into one or two categories, those relevant to the case and those not. That makes no sense to me. Well, no matter, it's of far greater importance that you make up your mind now. Sorry? Visiting hours at the prison will soon be over. Is it that time already? Let's go back. If we were to accept Mr. Natsume's case, we'd have the official paper to attend to. Okay, let's do it. So that's it. No more time to think. Perhaps you'd like to betake yourself to bidding us farewell. I must prepare supper for Mr. Garrideb. Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you both very much for your time. Soseki-san will be waiting for us, and I'm going to have to give him an answer. Let's move to Soseki. Time, Mr. Naruto. We must hurry back. Let's carry it. Oh, doesn't matter. It looks like something's going on over there in front of the Garrideb's house. That scary guy. I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. Who are you calling old man, you rum-looking ninny pimini? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt in your philosophy. Who's this Horatio fella? What are you on about? Excuse me. Who are you now? I'm sorry, it just looked as though there might be some problem here. My associate, Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, is a lawyer, you see. A lawyer? What? If I can be any assistance, I'll be happy to help. I'm from Japan, but I have studied English law. Tsk. Fine, I'll be on my way for today, but you mark my words. This ain't over yet. Get thee to a nunnery. Do I look like a blooming nun to you? Dear. Who is this character? I do hope you're not injured. Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so gentle. Gentle. Thank you. What was that all about? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. I'm not Horatio either. Forgive me the inquiry, sir, but are you a lodger here? In the garret of resident? Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so right. Yes, I do dwell in this humble abode. Mr. Gerda didn't mention he had another lodger, didn't he? This must be the man. You happen to know the other lodger who lives on the first floor? Ah, yes, a gentleman named Natsume. Oh, more worthy a polemis in my battle of words near could there be. Sorry, battle, did you say? Who's the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume and I sparred long into the night. I see. I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and this gentleman are acquaintances at least. So fair maiden, so good gentleman. I can tarry here no longer. Fare thee well. I didn't really understand him, but he returned to his room. Seems he's unaware what happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us. With Soseki-san and the man as lodgers, the Gyardub's house is certainly full of eccentrics. Anyways, I'll go and find a carriage. Yes, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly waiting our return. Let's hope we make it in time. Let's see. 19th February, 6:31 p.m. Local prison, cell 9. Ah. Oh, it's you. You're here. You came. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I can't believe you come back. I'm so touched. We're so sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Natsume. Oh no, think of nothing of it. Relax. If I were a cat, I would purr with pleasure at the company of such fine compatriots. Noble, nurturing, never failing, nippities. Let's not get carried away. Oh, I quite agree. There's nothing more reassuring than the familiarity of one's native land. On the other hand, it's thorough friendship transcending international border that one truly appreciates the fact. Such is my belief, at least. Oh, it's you! The miserable rotten spy! Sherlock Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing here? I have no intention of doing anything per se. Save observing, of course. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Well, having encountered some curious reading material in that gloomful room and having unmasked the secret identity of the eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on my way home, see how our divested friends are faring. Gloom and doom. At least your accommodation here offers a window, my dear fellow. In that case, it's a superior option. Anyway, I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been a delight and cost me not a penny. Ah, you! How dare you! Sherlock Sholmes! I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never come to Great Britain. It was a terrible mistake. Haunted by my spirits, those accursed lodgings, no doubt my luck will be cursed into more trial as well. My whole life! What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? He mentioned that once before, didn't he? That his lodgings were cursed, I mean? And there's much truth. That Mr. Mustache's words here. What? Cursed is a wholly appropriate description, I would say. The man's lodgings, and indeed for tomorrow's trial. What's that supposed to mean? Let's chat. Let's chat, man. Cursed trial. Mr. Natsume, what did you mean by you just now? The trial tomorrow being cursed? Why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous. I'm just getting carried away, that's all. I didn't mean anything by it. Oh. I'm really agitated. You don't mean this cursed trial really cursed? Are you referring to the prosecutor, the Reaper of the Bailey? The Reaper? Oh no, what do you mean? Please tell me, summarize it succinctly in 16 salient words. No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution ever. Oh, it can't be true. That was 16 words exactly. Yesterday, Mr. Naruhodo successfully defended someone against the Reaper, but then after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unusual circumstances. Mr. McGill did. What? What? I'm impressed, Mrs. Susato. You have an eye for detail. Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us. Mr. Sholmes, really it can't be that having failed to have the cursed convicted Lord Van Zykes killed the man himself? Oh no, he couldn't have, surely. You have some wonderful notions. Sorry? The man isn't a mass murderer. He is a court prosecutor, my dear fellow. Oh. Yeah, of course. Of course he is, then. Why are you trying to scare me? It could be said, however, that the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis. What on earth do you mean by that? Sure. Van Zykes is a quite exceptional man. However, in London courts of law, exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception. That's good. It's like looks like he's crying tears of joy. As you no doubt aware, in British criminal trial there is both judge and jury, and the judge officiates based on the letter of law, whilst the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It's an excellent system where the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion in particular is somewhat easily manipulated, and criminals and corrupt lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage. By any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling imposters as witnesses, and so on. By such underhanded means, those who would want are able to sway the jury, and which means that even in the light of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail. But it means the wrong verdict can be passed. And sadly, is from time to time, my dear madam, this is simply the reality of the situation. That's all right. However, those indicted by Lord Van Zykes cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed. The adjudication may seem to leave the courtroom with their freedom. Within months, they all disappear. It's almost striking. Disappear? But how? Ah, by all manner of misfortune, mister. Perhaps they're trampled under a passing carriage, they fall into the Thames and drown. Perhaps they're suddenly overcome by raging fever, or attacked by highwaymen. Oh, no. All examples of reality. Events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Naruhodo. I knew it. I'm dead, Dodo, done for, doomed! Poor guy. You said accursed lodgings before. You were referring to your room at Mr. Gyarados' house, I assume. Do you mean to say you believe the place is accursed? It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain. It's only been in London a week before I started to notice a strange feeling in myself. That didn't take long then. Every year, where I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. I was sure people were talking about me, starting to become nervous about going outside. They were always staring at me, at the time, from dawn till dusk. So I shut myself away in my room, but even that didn't help. Fear wouldn't go away. You must have been very lonely, having been away your homeland for such a long time. I've had to move a number of times, most recently to the room at Briar Road a week ago now. So why did you choose there? It seemed a little inconvenient. The rent is cheap. I have so little money, it appealed to me straight away. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable, and the landlord just simpered and said, "The room is cursed." Oops. Clearly tried to recover his mistakes, but it was too late, so I told him, "If you have something to say, then say it. If not, then don't mention it in the first place." Yes, well said. But it was true. It was all true. You mean the room really is cursed, then? Ever since I moved into that windowless hellhole? My sleep's been plagued with nightmares. I awake feeling as though I'm being choked to death. And in my waking hours, people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm a red-eyed killer thrown in prison. No one wants to know me, and I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits. Oh, this guy's like probably having like anxiety attacks or something. Only there was someone, just one person on my side. No one can find it in his or her heart to believe in me. Really, no one at all. To believe, yes, to believe. Yeah, we're gonna say yes. We believe in him. Yunosuke. Me, Mr. Naruhodo. Pray, what can I do for you? It's about the case on SS Berea, if you recall. Berea. Yes, the Berea. That case. The one with the snake? Well, yes. At that time, I was a suspect, but you believed in me and listened to my side of the story, and you helped us investigate. I did I? Interesting. What I want to know is, why? Why did you believe me? I see, yes, you mean... because you were grimly dressed? Shady Eastern fellow found with the victim in a locker room? Oh, if you like, yeah. I'm a little surprised that the answer requires explanation, my dear fellow. It's quite simple, really. You said, I didn't do it. But I could have been lying. Surely you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little. I think perhaps you misunderstood. I neither recall believing you, nor in that which you were telling me. What? Yeah. Hi, Mom. Yeah. We're in the mid. You couldn't wait a little later. Yeah, that's okay. I really appreciate it. Alright, let's continue. See, the only thing I believe in are those who I choose to believe in. Right. So what do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? I make up my own mind, and that's what to be believed. What is not. If I should like to believe in something, I do. The circumstances have hanged as far as I can hang, as far as I'm concerned. But could have betrayed your trust. In that case, I should have made an elementary error of judgment. Nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse in my opinion. Meaning? Whether or not one should trust another is a final analysis down to oneself. It is a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself. Yes, he's right. He's right, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Whether or not I can believe in myself. A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his claim. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. Well, you're so right, Kazuma. Well, my dear fellows, it's time we were leaving, I believe. Already? Visiting hours are over, and the guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There's a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me? Oh dear, there's never enough time, is there? Mr. Natsume, if you'd like, in the trial tomorrow, I'd be happy to represent you. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire. As I said, I only experienced a British courtroom for the first time yesterday, and although the man was representing was found out not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial. Something crucial? What to believe in, the defendant, justice, or the truth? How to believe, even. But I think I finally worked it out. I've decided I must believe in myself, above all else, to trust my instincts. We have a little bit of scripture that limits that way much more in scope. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. My instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. It's imperative that we prove that in court. Welcome, student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I'll fight for your innocence until the bitter end with every weapon available to me. I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow. As I said when we first met, I'd like to entrust my fate in someone who will listen to me in my native tongue. Of course, Mr. Natsume. It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruhodo, that your mind was in many ways made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it. Yes, I think you're right about that. It's been a roundabout journey, but it got here in the end. Mrs. Sato. Yes? Would you like to be willing to stand by my side tomorrow to help me in court? Absolutely. When I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant. Alright, let's do it. Let's do this! The shocking events of yesterday's trial will weigh heavily on my mind. It's time to stop looking backwards. Kazuma believed in me, and Mr. Sholmes believes in me now too. So it's time. Time that I learned to believe in myself. Soseki-san has no one. He's all alone, so it's my job to help him, to fight his corner. Tomorrow, in the courtroom, with all the strength I can muster. To be continued. We made it, guys. Almost on schedule. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys all for watching. It has been a great night. We're gonna check out who we can raid first. So let's check out that. All the way at the bottom. Hey, Donaway's on. We have Donaway. We have Sunshine. Racy Cat, welcome to the stream. Might have not said hello, but I appreciate for watching, and we're probably gonna raid Donaway a bit. Okay, so before we head out, I'd like to pray for all of you. If you haven't ever left a prayer request, even if I don't catch it in chat, feel free to send it to me on Discord, or if you'd like, you can always DM me on Twitch, and I'd love to pray for you. When will I continue the story? I will probably continue it on Saturday. We usually do it on Saturday at around 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We haven't been able to stream at 9 usually, so yeah, I really enjoy the story. There's so many twists and a lot of hilarious characters, and I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, I definitely hope we can hit right off on Saturday. If you join the Discord, make sure to stay in, because unless I permit you, I believe you might get instantly kicked out if you leave your Discord. So let me check. Yeah. So I'll keep out a watch for the vetting room, and just leave a message there and I'll quickly get to you if you want that. All right. So I'm gonna go quickly pray, and then we're gonna say bye. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for all the people that were able to join. I hope that we were able to have fun and experience all the art and the cool things that you have given over these creative years and stuff. I really appreciate the people who worked on this game, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to read the Bible as well in the beginning. There's a lot to learn in the history. There's a lot to understand in the cultural context of Israel, and I just really appreciate you to give us this opportunity to do it together. And I also pray for Ritzy Cat. I pray that they'll have a good day, and the people that we meet along the way, until the next time, that will, continue to share the love that God gives us, and that we'll remember to share the good news with all people. And I pray this all in Jesus' name, amen. All right, so we're going to head to Donaway. I believe his name Donaway. There we go. I'm going to raid/raid. Here we go. So I really appreciate you guys are hanging. See ya then.